Yeah, this is it's Ecclesiasticus 38. Start at verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise. Right, so if you making excuses, talking about you got 5 yoke of oxen, and you need to go and try them, then guess what? You're not busy trying to get wisdom. Right? When you're busy, occupied in things that are more to do with this world than things of the Most High, then you sinning, man. That's a sin. Okay? Verse 38, Ecclesiasticus 38, verse 25. How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the gold, that driveth the oxen, and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of bullocks? See, verse 26, he giveth his mind to make furrows, and is diligent to give the kind fodder. Right, you diligent to do that, but you ain't diligent to get the wisdom. Right? So that when you get into the wilderness, you ain't gonna be telling the Most High, you ain't gonna make no excuse. You ain't gonna say, oh, I sinned. Or you ain't gonna make no excuse to say I didn't sin. You understand? Because you was busy in the world trying to feed fodder to the kind, but you wasn't trying to feed the Most High sheep, man. Right? Come on, man. But it ain't like these sheep want to hear anyway. It's all good though. They the ones that they the ones that making excuses. And when the time come, when they get taken into the wilderness, they gonna be found out in that day, man. Okay? Most High gonna plead with you face to face, and he gonna ask you, what were you doing, man? What were you doing, man? What you gonna tell him? Oh, I had 5 yoke of oxen and I went to go try him. He gonna say to you in that day. He gonna say to you in that day, thou wicked and slothful servant. Thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking that which I did not plow, right? Or taking with a sown that which, I did not plant. Roughly paraphrasing, huh? You know what he gonna do to that servant? That's gonna happen in the wilderness, man. That's gonna be the dialogue in the wilderness. It ain't gonna be no games, man. That's what I'm saying. You think you made it by the chariots. You going right there, you gonna go right into the kingdom. Nah, there's gonna be a purging process. You gotta see, you know how when you on the internet and you go on the website, they make you authenticate, 2-factor authentication. They done turned the damn internet to a digital maximum security prison. You gotta authenticate, sign in, and get a damn code, you know what I'm saying, sent to your cell phone, all this madness. Well, guess what? That's what the Most High gonna do to us in the wilderness. We gonna have to authenticate. We gonna have to authenticate in the wilderness, man. You know what I'm saying? Or you know how, like, another good example, like in the military, or like some kind of job where you gotta, do security for the government, or whatever. There's a vetting process, right? They do background checks, all of this madness, just to make sure you ain't some sort of terrorist, right? Make sure you're not a sleeper cell. So there's a vetting process that has to take place. That's going to take place in the wilderness. The vetting process, the two-factor authentication is going to take place in the wilderness, right? You must authenticate in the wilderness. He ain't just going to let you into the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? He not. That's why you got to take heed, not be caught up in the affairs and cares of this life and make excuses. So when the time comes, you get taken to the wilderness. Here it is, you didn't escape the destruction. And you in the wilderness now and you don't make it, you get purged out. Alright? You done got purged out, huh? Alright? You done got purged out. Because you didn't pass the authentication process or the vetting process. Alright? It's Luke chapter 14, verse 20. And another said, I have married a wife. You see that? And therefore I cannot come. This dude just got married. His woman is his excuse, man. You know, I was out here one time. This brother was with a Becky, man. And he was I ain't gonna say it, but you know what I'm saying? The dude was whipped, man. You know what I'm saying? He was on a leash. He was like a simp. He didn't stay to hear the word. And his woman was ready to go, so he just followed right behind her, man. That's how a lot of men are, man. They simps, man. They do what their woman tell them to do, man. They make excuses. And y'all gonna make these excuses in the wilderness, according to Jeremiah 2 and 35. Y'all gonna say y'all don't have no sin when he pleads with you face to face. Jeremiah 2 verse 35, yet thou sayest, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. And you think, because you didn't escape and got a chariot ride into the wilderness, oh yeah, see, I must be innocent now, because I done made it this far. Nah, nope. You gotta be vetted. You gotta be vetted. I'm gonna go more into that vetting process. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go more into it. Right? You're gonna say what? Yet thou sayest, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. But it ain't gonna turn, because he gonna be like this. Behold, I will plead with thee, because thou sayest I have not sinned right. But see something about you, the Most High see that ain't right, and he gonna ask you about it. And that's gonna be that day when you make that excuse. You gonna make that excuse. You gonna say, I didn't sin, I don't have no sin. But he gonna be like, nah, you was busy, occupied in the merchandise that was gonna be robbed and spoiled from you. Busy worried about your house, busy worried about your woman and your kids, busy worried about your cars, busy trying to chase a career. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying, if your focus ain't on this wisdom, if your focus isn't getting this wisdom, man, I feel bad for you. You're gonna be found out in that wilderness. Most High gonna plead with you face to face, huh? And it ain't gonna be nothing nice, man. The dialogue is gonna be harsh. It ain't gonna be like he ain't gonna speak to you lightly, man. Scriptures say, I will not meet thee as a man. Coming back as a galactic force. You know what I'm saying? And in the wilderness, he definitely he's not gonna be as a man with you in the wilderness when he plead face to face with you. You know what I'm saying? He not, nah. Luke 14, verse 21, so that servant came and showed his Adonai these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. And the servant said, Adonai, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room, still room. Huh? Why? Because the harvest is great, but the laborers are few, huh? Ain't nobody want to come out here and do this work. A lot of you men are cowards, man. Scared. The harvest is great, but the laborers are few. The Most High's great supper should have been filled by now. Should have been filled. But because you Negroes don't want to labor in this thing, right? Y'all don't want to do the work. Filling up them seats for the supper is taking twice as long. I should have been had somebody to help me with this, man. Should have been had a brother out here with me teaching these scriptures. Scary Negroes, man. Tired of y'all, man. Okay. It's Jeremiah 9. Start at verse 2. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them, for they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men. Verse 3, and they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth. Right. That's how you Israelites are, man. You're not valiant for this truth. Right? That's why the harvest is great, but the laborers are few. You're not valiant for the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know the truth, but y'all lukewarm. Know the truth, but you lukewarm. Because some of y'all done heard the words of this curse, but y'all thought that y'all was going to go back out into the world to bless yourselves. Huh? Adding drunkenness to thirst. That's what y'all doing. You done heard the words of this curse. Now you thought you gonna go out in the world, bless yourself, and add drunkenness to thirst, right? Here it is. You done found out the curses that you was thirsty. You was put in the position of captivity, to be subdued and oppressed, right? You found out you thirsty. Now you gonna go back out in the world just to try to bless yourself, and all you gonna do is add drunkenness to that. You gonna make it worse for you, man. You not valiant for the truth. Right? Harvest is great, but the laborers are few. That's another excuse you make. You make excuses to not go out and do the work, man. Right? To not teach. Jeremiah 9, verse 3, and they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth, for they proceed from evil to evil. And they know not me, saith Adonai. Right? Y'all don't know the Most High. Y'all don't understand his severity, man. Right? Y'all don't get it. See, this Babylonian wine that you've drunken in the form of Christianity has dulled you down, right? It has made you complacent, thinking that Adonai will be light with thee. He is not going to be light with you in the wilderness. The Messiah is not some long-haired hippie with a joint in his mouth, with a t-shirt with psychedelic colors on it, talking about peace, peace to the world. All that madness, man. That ain't him, man. That's why they give you that image, to dull your senses down, thinking he's some nice guy. Messiah, he is not no nice guy, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He ain't gonna be nice with you. It ain't gonna be light in that day. He not gonna be light. He not gonna be easy going. You know? He ain't gonna be flexible. There ain't gonna be no flexibleness, man. You know? Luke chapter 14, verse 23, and Adonai said unto the servant, go out unto the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. For I say unto you, that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. And you know what? Adonai know that. So he gonna take those that made excuses by way of chariot, right? Or even if you fled out of Babylon, if you get slack, if you get lackadaisical, like this parable say, he gonna come in a day when his servant is unaware of, right? The one who began to eat and drink with the drunken and to beat his manservants, right? You become slack. Listen, you're gonna be taken up out of Babylon into the wilderness. Like I said, you made those excuses in the world, you're gonna be slain before him. That's the dialogue in the wilderness. That's how it's gonna go down. Wouldn't it be a shame you done made it out of Babylon by way of UFO or UAP chariots, but you go in the wilderness and die? Even Moses didn't enter the promised land. And you think Adonai are gonna be light with you? No. All y'all that made excuses, didn't want to hear the prophets on the highways and byways, all your family members, your friends, your co-workers, all of them people who mocked and made fun of you, or said, oh, that ain't the truth. You just crazy. They're gonna be in the wilderness, man. No one getting away with nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody getting away with nothing. You know? Back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 20, verse 35. Verse 35, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Okay? Face to face. What's that talking about? Let's get it again, man. Matter of fact, yeah, let's go to Matthew 7. Because guess what? You're going to have some that did the work You're going to have some that did the work. That's what I'm saying, man. Many are called, but few are chosen.